Hey everybody, welcome to the men's room. I'm your host, the Appalachian American. With me as always, Tom, the man, the myth,
What's up,
and
people?
special guest, Tonedef.
What's up, everybody? It's the world's wokest warrior, primitive-sided, toxic fanboy aligned with the like-minded. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. I've been checking out your stuff. A lot of Zelda,
Thank you.
content, some other things. I've been able to catch. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
All right, so I'd like to say I'm 21, but that isn't true. Born and raised in Las Vegas, and I'll tell you what, I'm old enough where I was around for the end of the good old days. And, probably seen it in movies. And now I'm just living the life in the modern city. It's home, Other than that, I DJ. I'm a sound engineer. I just started YouTubing recently. Big fan of the world-class bullshitters, and that's how I got into it, and that's how I've met most of my friends off here. And
Hashtag fandom menace.
yeah, just like everyone else, I just want to be told a good story without being told what kind of person I should be.
Right.
So.
I'm not an istophobic phobophobe.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, other than that, I'm just kind of boring, man. I just, I talk a lot. I sometimes interrupt myself, I think, but other than that, I'm just,
music.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. Tonight we have there's a few loose kind of topics that I found earlier. I don't know if you guys are into the Walking Dead comics.
No,
have you guys ever?
I've seen yours. That's about it.
Okay.
My wife owns all the compendiums.
I've got them. So I found a story from Screen Rant today about Thor's hammer Mjolnir showed up in an episode. Man, I got a noisy kid. Thor's hammer showed up in one of the episodes of The Walking Dead, or one of the issues. Issue 123. One of the saviors ended up is shown holding Mjolnir.
Oh wow,
that's a cool little Easter egg.
Oh yeah.
I'll we'll definitely link that, and I will post we'll have a picture posted right now.
You know what it reminds me of, if you don't mind?
Sure.
In Thor Ragnarok, all right, I heard this rumor for Endgame, okay, in between Infinity War and Endgame and all the speculation going on. I heard that they were going to make the Infinity Gauntlet out of the pieces of Mjolnir that fell when Thor's sister squeezed it in Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then they get zapped to, the other world. She leaves for Asgard, and all that precious metal is sitting there. I don't remember what they call it, but that metal that they use to make the gods' weapons, it's just sitting there. And I was always told that it would show an Endgame. They would find a way, they would time travel to that point and pick up the metal from Mjolnir and make the Infinity Gauntlet. So now I'm thinking The Walking Dead found it.
Could be.
That's what it reminds me of?
What?
Marvel Zombies.
Yes.
Ooh. I haven't watched much of that, but I have. I've heard of it. According to a quick Google search, the Asgardian fictional metal is called Uru.
Yeah, Uru metal.
It takes the sun's heat to melt it.
That's insane. I can imagine somebody being worthy of carrying that in The Walking Dead.
It's only Negan.
Huh?
Negan's the only one that can lift it.
That would be awesome. He would be. It's one of his guys that's got it.
Yeah.
But I love Negan. That dude is so cool.
Just so you know, Seth, I'm almost caught up. Almost.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Do you watch it, Tony?
I watched. Okay, so I know everything about not everything about the comics, but my wife talks to me a lot about the comics. We watched the show up until we watched until Negan, and then I think I saw an episode or two after that, and I need to catch up from that point. It's just kind of hard, man. Like when we lost Beth, that was hard, man. That was out of nowhere. I'm like, I thought she was about to get in some underage relationship with Daryl, and
I don't think that she was that underage, though. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure how old she was in the show.
Plus, in a world like that, it's different. You got to grow up quick. I mean,
man, I will say when she got, well, first off, she stabbed her right in the shoulder, which was pointless. Dawn, the police officer, that was pointless. Like, go for somewhere more vital.
Hey, Thor made the same mistake.
Right, go for the head. Exactly. Man, talk about Thor. Bringing that around to MCU discussion, I found on a website a list where somebody listed all 23 movies of the MCU, and I definitely didn't want to go into all 23 movies. We'd be here all night. So we kind of put together a list of our top 10, and just to kind of go over and create discussion. See how we are all different. All three of us are different, and then see how much we're different than the rest of the world, because, you know.
all right, so I think the best MCU movie, and it might be a little vanilla, but it's Iron Man. And it's not just because it kicked everything off, but I mean, it just has its own flavor to it, and it has its own tone. And my one gripe about it, and it's just a subjective, it's got to be the first, you know what? How can it not? Did you?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, are we going around or?
Yeah, let's go around.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, obviously, we all have the same thing.
Yeah.
To touch base on your Terrence Howard comment, how out of the movie did it pull you in Iron Man 2 when Don Cheadle showed up?
The way they handled it and made the joke, he's like, "It's me. I'm here. Get over it." I wasn't a big. I mean, every time I watch Iron Man, the one part I cringe at is Tony, when he's looking for Tony Stark and he's all, Tony just got his heart back, and just it's something about Terrence Howard's acting. So it was kind of relieved, you know. Like by the time they got out of the Senate trial, I was used to Don Cheadle in the role. You know, it didn't throw me off then.
Yeah, I didn't really know Terrence Howard, so when he showed up, I was like, that's not Rhodey, and then it was like I spent a few minutes kind of like collecting my thoughts on what just happened. Wait a minute, hold up, wait, did they just pull a switcheroonie? And I think that pulled me out of the movie, but not super long. Just enough for me to think, and then I was like, "Oh wait, it's a joke, haha!" Like, you know, going back into it.
There's got to be some process time there because you're already associating a face to the role. So
yeah.
Although
I will say that I felt like Terrence Howard was a more friend to Tony than Don Cheadle was. Oh man, I got a crying baby.
Warmer between them, I could see that. Yeah.
So, but
the reason I picked Iron Man is, for one, it started it all, but for two, it had the best music. Best. Like when you knew when it was going to be a badass moment just because of the AC/DC in the background.
Most definitely.
Yep.
For me, what really kicked it off was when I was a kid. I had an action figure, and I wish that I had that action figure but it was a Iron Man, probably early 90s. And I played with that thing until the paint started to wear off of it. And I remember in 2007 hearing about the movie, the Iron Man movie coming out, and was like, dude, that is so awesome. But
sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, dude. I remember I heard about the Iron Man movie and I was thinking, all right, they're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. And I was a little jaded from Spider-Man 3, I believe. But then, I saw it. I kept hearing it was good, word of mouth. I waited a few weeks to go see it, but I mean, I can put that movie on anytime and watch it. It's one of those movies.
So to just kind of to sidebar, you don't like Spider-Man 3 at all?
I can't say it all, but
Yeah.
what really ruined it for me was since the first Spider-Man, I was waiting for Venom. And they crapped the bed so bad with Venom that it just it should have been focused on Harry. They had that 3-movie arc between Harry and Peter, and that could have been the focus with Sandman, interweaved through it, and that would have been just a fine movie on its own.
Yeah. And to all the audience, common misconception, it is not Sam Raimi's fault for Venom. Everybody, I keep hearing, oh, Sam Raimi really screwed the pooch on Spider-Man 3, yada, yada, yada. No, that was Avi Arad. He wanted Venom. He didn't care about the setup. He just wanted Venom. And it royally sucked. I mean, okay, it didn't royally suck. There was a lot of funny parts in that movie. But it wasn't enough funny to outweigh how bad it was, how bad the Venom portion of the movie was.
Yeah.
It cracks me up when J. Jonah Jameson has heart medication and cannot get over it. Like when he gets to the boiling point, because that's what J. Jonah Jameson is known for, is having a short temper. And it is hilarious when she's like, what, calm down, watch your, and
she
like,
keeps buzzing in on him.
Yeah, the buzzer. And oh, dude, it's so funny. You could tell he's like, but no, I mean, I love conversating about Spider-Man 3 because it is a guilty pleasure. I love watching it. I know it's awful. I love the funny of it, but I hate the cringe of certain parts. There is a kid that was my next door neighbor. All right. He used to walk down the hallway of school dancing like Peter Parker did. Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And so at that time period, that was 2007. Spider-Man 3 was at 2000. I think it was 2007. But that was the time period where people like that did stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's like, oh, how stupid. And I'm like, that's kind of normal for, I've seen people do that.
Yeah.
So, but it was stupidly cringe.
Question. Would it have been better if they used the Venom in the Venom movie for that? Spider-Man 3?
It would have been crammed still, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Topher Grace was an awful Eddie Brock.
Yeah. Imagine, first off, instead of having Kirsten Dunst be with every guy that's in the movie, including 3 or 4 in the first movie, why not have it like play everything out with Harry Osborn and Peter and Sandman and all of that, and instead of having Mary Jane once again leave somebody, I don't know, she could have been with J. Jonah Jameson's son. There could have been a tragedy with his spaceship entering orbit or something. Kill them all. It's a little different than the comics, or have him paralyze something, okay? They're all up on the building. Harry dies. It pans out how it does in the movie. And just tease at the end of the movie, in the wreckage of the spaceship or at the site or something, the symbiote. And I mean, that would have been the perfect ending. Could you imagine how excited people would have been for Spider-Man 4?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I know it's not Raimi's fault, but I mean, Avi Arad is an idiot.
Yeah.
And they really, pardon my French, but they shit the bed on that one.
Yeah.
Bad.
All right, let's move on to number 2.
Yeah. What do you say, Tony?
Yeah. We went off on a whole trail there. All right, so I like the team up movies, so a couple of those might come next, but the first Guardians of the Galaxy would be my second favorite. That was just it almost seemed like a breath of fresh air. We were coming off the Avengers, and I didn't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were really, and my wife and I, it was something to do. We have the drive-in theater here in town. It never closed, which is awesome. I saw the original Ninja Turtles movie there. I mean, I've been going there a long time, So we decided to kill a, Thursday, Friday night, whatever, and we go to see Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was great, especially the first time you see it. I mean, it's a really funny movie, and it was different than the other ones, so it just sticks out to me,
Tommy?
All right.
Sorry.
All right.
Mirrored.
I mean, I like the Guardians of the Galaxy. It did make my list, but it's not second. My second one would have to be Captain America in 2011, the first one. The military aspect, like, it showed how he was the perfect for Captain America. Like, I think they really did a good work on building that character.
A lot of heart.
A lot of heart. Especially when it jumped on the grenade.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can see why. Yeah, that's good storytelling.
I had forgot Tommy Lee Jones was in that movie.
Yeah.
Because I watched it recently. I got a box set the other day and was just like, well, I forgot he was in there.
I wasn't looking forward to that movie. I didn't see it in theaters either, and I regret that now because when I did see it again, it's a great movie. They did a real... Yeah. I just wasn't in the mood for a period piece. That was it. But, I mean, they did a great job with it.
They did better than the second one. Second one was a letdown for me.
The Winter Soldier?
What? Yeah.
It was.
Nice.
I like how it has all 3 shields on it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Man, I loved Winter Soldier.
It was a letdown to me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was part of the same movie. I don't know why.
My number 2 is Avengers 1.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure. Like, I love that movie, but I think the experience of seeing it in theaters and I went with a couple friends. So it was just like a group event. And then we live in a small town. So it's like you go there with a few friends and then you see everybody else that you're there. And it's like, oh, hey, what's up? How's it going? Yada, yada, yada. And then it's like you see this awesome movie. It's got a fantastic ending. And it's just like, whoa. And then I think the atmosphere played into why I loved it so much.
Yeah, it's an event.
Yeah. But number 3.
Number 3, this might be where it gets controversial, but Avengers Age of Ultron.
I can see that.
I saw this movie in the same drive-in theater. In fact, I saw a lot of MCU movies in this drive-in, okay? And my initial thoughts on it was that was nowhere near as good as the first movie. they tried way too hard with the quips, which is true. And I probably didn't watch it again for about a year or a year and a half after I saw it that initial time. And it might have been longer than that. It's probably on TV or something, TNT, when I saw it again. And I enjoyed it that time. And I think it was because my expectations were down and I wasn't expecting the humor. And not saying it was funny, but just the jokes kind of went by the peripheral and I was paying attention to the story. And I never realized it that movie almost did for the MCU what the prequels did for the Star Wars universe in terms of world building and just kind of kicking the door open. And it introduced Claw, it teased the Infinity. When you see Thor's vision, it shows Vision waking up in it, but it also shows the Infinity Stones aligned with like a nebula, and it makes out the Infinity Gauntlet. So that was just kind of I guess for me when everything started to really heat up towards Infinity War.
Really good foreshadowing.
Yeah, I watched it. I went and saw it in theaters. I didn't really know if I liked it or not in theaters. I got the Blu-ray when it came out, and then I remember just having it just to have it. I didn't know. I didn't necessarily. I just wanted to like put it in my collection. I went back and rewatched it not long ago because it was after Black Panther came out. It might have been before Infinity War and it might have been between them two movies that I watched it. But I watched it again, and I was really surprised at how much that it was in it that I didn't catch on the first time around. That kind of like that was that foreshadowing. There was what was his the Hulk said the whole or I'm sorry, Bruce Banner said something about Wakanda, and I remember thinking like it didn't even catch it at that point, but then when I rewatched it, I'd already seen Black Panther and I was like, oh, okay, well that's cool. And I think he mispronounced it or something.
Wakanada or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it went over right over my head the first time I saw it. And little things like that really stood out that second or third time that I watched it, that I was just like, dang, I really do like this. And it really showed a lot of Black Widow that like you didn't really know about.
The only thing, it took me about 2 or 3 times to watch to actually really like it. And the only reason why is because I felt like they added too many characters in one movie.
Yep. Too much
because, you had Vision, Scarlet Witch, Ultron, all coming in. It was hard to get a backstory on Vision. Oh, you got the backstory on Vision because he was just born.
Yeah.
So, like the Scarlet Witch, they're trying to throw hers in there. And
exactly.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's who she was at first.
Yeah. I didn't even know who she was because it wasn't a good backstory at first.
Mm-hmm.
That's a movie that I think we all agree. Like the way you two articulated it is exactly what I couldn't agree more. That's a movie where so much was going on. It's not necessarily a bad movie. You just need to view it a few times to digest it and to actually catch everything going on.
There's so much in it.
I would like it if they split it into 2 movies.
That would work too.
I honestly believe that that's where right after that should have been the Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
Because that they really showed you a side of Black Widow that like you really had no clue about, and like what better way to follow up with that than be like, hey, here we go.
Can I point out I don't want to call it a continuity error. But I was thinking, number one, when they go to get the stone and get Vision, and there's that whole scene in the plane, and that's where Ultron kidnaps Black Widow for the end, and that's where they get Vision. They could have cut that down a lot shorter, because that's where the movie does drag at times. It's like they could have cut that sequence down. But when Captain America goes in there and Dr. Cho is on the ground and Ultron had already taken off, she tells him, that they can't just blow up the Infinity Stone because it could level the whole city. I think they were in Seoul, South Korea, okay? So then flash forward to Infinity War, and Scarlet Witch destroys the what is it? The
Mind
Time Stone, okay? And it just and it's the same stone they were talking about. I mean, it lets off a little, but that should have killed everybody in that Wakandan battlefield the way they were talking about it in Age of Ultron. So
I never put them two together.
I didn't think about that either. Yeah.
So and I think there's a qualifier, like she says, it could level the city, but I mean, at the time when you're watching Age of Ultron, you're meant to think if that blows up, the city's going with it. Like,
oh yeah.
Talking nuclear explosion type.
Yeah. My favorite meme on that one was when someone said, "Who gave Siri a body?" When it showed Ultron.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mean to. My bad, brother.
No, go ahead.
I don't mean to bring it back to this either. I meant to say this earlier, but in defense of Spider-Man 3, the way you can tell if a movie stands the test of time is we're still seeing memes from that movie, and same with a lot, you know, so I think that's a mark of a good movie in its own right, as if it's meme worthy, even a decade later, you know.
Just talking about it, I just flipped it on, so it's I've got it playing in the background just to watch.
All right, it's number 3, right?
Yeah.
All right, mine was Iron Man 3. I wanted to say I would love it if they actually had a good Hulk movie. I would have picked that as number 3. They don't. They need to make a Hulk movie. Past tense, not what he is now. But Iron Man 3, because it actually showed most of his suits. Like that's what I was waiting for, to see them all out there. So, and it was a good ending for his solo movies.
Yeah. The one thing I had a problem with was the Mandarin. Now, I'm not familiar with the comic material. I don't know how the Mandarin should have been. I don't know any of that. I'm not, but the way that they came across with it being like a gag was kind of a letdown for me, because I think my third is The Winter Soldier, because I love a political thriller. And at that point in time in the world, we were dealing with terrorists. We were dealing with, all that kind of situation and stuff. And don't shut us down, YouTube, for that. Terrorist. My bad. Excuse me, I said it again. That's what the world was dealing with at that time. And it was so cool to see what we deal with in real life on the movie screen in a superhero form. So I really enjoyed Iron Man 3 until they pulled that switcheroony with the Mandarin really wasn't all that in charge. It was somebody else.
Wasn't Iron Man the first actual movie to portray Arabs in that way, and not in a racist way, just in the terrorist as a bad guy, not a sympathetic way? So my bad. I didn't mean to say it either. My bad.
As far as I can think, yeah. I never realized that.
That's what got me, because I'm not big on the comics either. But that's what got me about the Mandarin was, it's like, okay, here we go, full circle. Like this started in the first movie, and now here's the leader, and that's what I was thinking watching the movie until Trevor, or whatever the actor's name, came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's like, "Hey, man, would you like? You want a beer? You want something to drink? Want to smoke?" Yeah.
Do you mind if I because I liked Iron Man 3. I did. Like the Hispanic Scott Baio line always gets me every time I watch the movie. But I just don't like how they treated the suits in the movie, and in everywhere from at the end scene. I mean, you think about some of the things he's gone through, a wormhole into space and thrown a nuke mothership before, you know? And in this third act of the movie, I mean, the suits are falling apart like nothing. And it, even in the first act, when the suit's going to get Pepper in his sleep, I mean, he goes up and hits it with his forearm or something, and it shatters. Like, that's not, your forearm should be broken after hitting. That's an Iron Man suit, you know? So the director, I'm sorry, he's slipping my mind right now, but I do like his style. But he made the suits just seem a little fragile in that movie, just compared to any other movie.
Yeah, it seemed like the first version when he's coming out in the desert kind of falling apart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that just kind of stuck out to me a little bit. Like, he wouldn't have been able to get through. He wouldn't have been able to get into space with something falling apart like that. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. Well, I think I liked it just because it wasn't just involving the city. Like, you actually see Iron Man in a small town halfway through the movie, and he helps that one boy. And I don't know. It just seemed like it was they would have done the suits better.
Shane Black was the director. Sorry, my phone glitched all up.
Yes, thank you.
I liked crap, that evaded me. The showing of his PTSD from that wormhole, from destroying that mothership, like, he treated his suit like a car.
Yeah.
Like it was just chilling out in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like he just walks in, he has a panic attack, doesn't know what's going on, and runs out and jumps in his suit. And like everybody's kind of like, is he okay?
Yeah.
You need some help?
He called that little boy the kid from the Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't like the second one. The reason why I chose the third one is because even Seth, I think you pointed this out in one of the show episodes. His problem, he was sick, was his alcoholism. And they didn't enter that in the second one, did they?
No, it was palladium.
Yeah, palladium. They switched it.
The core in his mini arc reactor.
Yeah.
It was poisoning him.
But in the cartoon, well, not cartoons, but in the comic books, it was alcohol that was killing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, I mean, then again, well, let's see. Iron Man 2, yeah, he hadn't had, like, all the PTSD. I mean, I guess it was the stress of being Iron Man. I don't know. Was he an alcoholic before he became Iron Man?
He liked to party.
Well, yeah.
From what I heard, that's one reason, because, I mean, in Iron Man 2, it shows him getting drunk at his birthday party and stuff. I heard they actually went the PTSD route in 3, because Iron Man 3 is the first Disney Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
Everything before that was Paramount, and it was Disney that didn't want them focusing on the alcohol, because all the way up to the first Avengers, which was his last appearance before 3, he's pouring a drink talking to Loki. After that, it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think they were hinting at his alcohol. Part of that angle was hinting at it or foreshadowing in Iron Man 2 when they showed him getting drunk and making an ass of himself at his party.
He said, "You want to know how we go to the bathroom in the suit?" It's like that.
But that's what I wanted. I wanted that all throughout it.
Gosh.
Disney, I'm glad they at least increased the series by putting more, but they tweaked it to where it just rubs me the wrong way. Yeah. Certain little details I wish they would have kept with all the characters.
Yeah.
I mean, they made the Hulk a teddy bear. Like,
I really didn't like that. I don't like Mark Ruffalo anyway.
She-Hulk is going to end up being everything that Hulk should have been in these movies.
Yep.
It's hard to put any of the Disney movies over the Paramount ones because they were different. They had a different feel to them.
It's a total tone shift.
Yeah.
I I shared a meme one time, and I don't necessarily. I feel that it came off harsher than what I meant it to be, but it was that Steven Crowder changed my mind meme, and it said Guardians of the Galaxy ruined the MCU. And my point being is that the following movie, let's see, Winter Soldier, then Guardians, and then I believe that's when it shifted into Disney territory. Might have been Guardians. I'm not sure where it transitioned over. But
Iron Man 3 was the first Disney movie. Iron Man 3, yeah.
Okay. But you could tell there's a big tone shift from Winter Soldier to Guardians of the Galaxy to Iron Man 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I've had arguments with people that think that Iron Man 3 is the one that ruined it, but I haven't seen any inconsistency with Tony Stark's character to justify.
Iron Man 3 was different, but it didn't ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're saying because I don't want to step all over your point, but I get what you're saying by Guardians of the Galaxy.
And I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but it's the effect it caused afterwards.
Yeah, everything had to be a joke. I felt like that. As much as I loved Thor Ragnarok, he definitely suffered trying to be funny, trying to be this, and he was almost so clueless that it became a joke, and it was like that's not really that funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Thor as him being like a Viking.
Yeah.
And now he's like a joke. He's a meme.
In the first one, he just slams it down. He's like, I want another.
Yeah. And that was funny, but it still was like what you would see Thor do.
Yeah.
Not carrying around an umbrella and stuff like that.
Yeah. My third was Winter Soldier.
Now, why?
Because I love that political thriller. When he realized that Bucky was alive, when he had to go after and figured out, but everybody hounded on him for trying to do what he thought was the right thing. And it was like, Nick Fury faking his death. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys. Nick Fury faked his death. You couldn't tell who was the good guy and who was the bad guy. You just kind of had to fly by the seat of your pants and hope that nobody was a double agent or whatnot. But it was just that political thriller is what I enjoyed most about it.
Well, I thought when I heard Bucky, I guess the only reason why I didn't like it, main reason, is because I thought we was going to get Captain America where he turns evil there for a little bit. He gets brainwashed. That's what I was waiting for. That's what I was, because I remember that storyline and I wanted that. So I guess that's what kind of happened.
Yeah. On to number 4.
There are so many good ones. This is where it starts to get a little hard because I don't want to put one over the other because I enjoy so many of these, and especially the earlier ones. I'm going to go ahead.
I think all of my top 5 just could be like one. Like any of my top 5 could be number 1, could be number 2. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so hard to pick just.
Yeah.
See, I'm fighting right now because I enjoyed Captain America, the First Avenger, and the first Thor so much. But I think I'm going to go with Thor because, again, another movie I saw on the drive-in with my wife and the memory, and they had a little more romance to it. I don't know. Something about the Jane Foster and Thor story from the first one just hit me a little harder than and I hadn't seen Captain America at this point yet, so I didn't see Peggy Carter and Steve and the plane yet. But I just liked, with my wife, it was a good date movie, and just almost like you said with the Avengers, the experience itself just made it special. And every time I can go back and watch that movie now, and it kind of brings me back to that place.
Yeah. The moment that you could tell that he wasn't BSing her, and his armor forms on him, and he just turns into that god.
Mhm.
Like the hair on my arm stood up. Like it was such an epic moment because it was this whole build of like him being like, "Oh, I'm a god. Like I'm the god of thunder. Like I'm this, I'm that," and it was like no proof to it whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
And she thought that he was crazy and yada yada yada. And then his friend showed up, and when it came time for him to lay his life down for it, that's when he got the power back. That's when he became the mighty Thor. And as soon as his armor formed and you could see the look on her face, it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was. And
Told you, fool.
As much as I liked him and Jane together too, I was hoping that him and Lady Sif would eventually get together, though, because I really liked her.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Alexander or whatever. I'm sad she hasn't been around lately.
Yeah, somebody said something about she had some other acting that was going on, and that's the reason why she hadn't come back.
But ain't she going to become She-Thor?
No, Jane Foster's going to.
Yeah, Natalie Portman.
I wish it was like, if they're going to do it, Lady Sif would be a better God of Thunder than Natalie Portman.
Oh yeah, Love and Thunder. That's so stupid.
All right, my number 4, it might shock y'all, is Doctor Strange. I don't know. It was a great story. I was never a fan of Doctor Strange because I really didn't have any of his comics or nothing. But I watched it and I actually really enjoyed it. Thought it was a good movie.
Mads Mikkelsen or whatever, I enjoyed him in that as the villain. I can't remember his name, but
I can't remember it either.
It's Mads Mikkelsen played him, but what was his name? The evil sorcerer with the funny eyes, who was calling out. Yeah. I like the visuals in that movie, like going into the mirror dimension and everything. That was such an acid trip just watching that.
Yeah. Well, my thing is how he defeated the main villain. Like they put him in his first movie, they gave him a huge villain to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even fight him. He just basically bored the villain to death.
Yeah. What other movie has ended like that? What other?
Oh, yeah.
And not just MCU, I mean, comic book movie. I mean, that was so original.
Oh, yeah.
Casillas?
Yeah, Casillas or whatever.
That was a movie that I totally skipped, and I wish I hadn't.
What?
Doctor Strange.
Really?
I skipped it in theaters. No, I mean I've seen it now, but I skipped it in theaters.
I did too.
Man, it just didn't like. I was like, who is this guy? Like,
yeah, I mean, he's a superhero you really don't hear much about until the movie came out. Yeah,
it was really cool.
My Doctor Strange experience before this movie was watching him team up with Spider-Man in the '90s cartoon.
And he got the cape. Spider-Man got the cape.
Yeah. Other than that, I had never seen anything of him, but I like him, and I like Benjamin Cumberbatch as him. Like, honestly, I wish him and Tony Stark would have more screen time together going forward. If it
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was great. And actually that leads me into number 4. For me is Infinity War, where they met.
Yeah.
Because That was such a good duo. You couldn't fit both of their heads in the same building.
No.
Does mother know you weareth her drapes?
Well, did you know they were actually supposed to? You know where Spider-Man had the legs out and he saved Doctor Strange and pulled him back when they busted the hole? Did you know Iron Man was supposed to switch suits with him? Like give him his suit just so he wouldn't die from going outside. He was going to be the Iron Strange. Like he was going to have the cape of Doctor Strange, but the Iron Man suit, and it was going to have a satanic like logo on his chest. But they cut it out. If you look at the deleted scenes, you actually see him wearing the cape.
That sucks.
What?
Yes. There's a YouTube video explaining.
Yo, I'm about to look at that real quick.
Yeah,
I got it on here.
It's nanotech. Like Tony Stark would just be able to send his suit over to anybody if he wanted. Like,
Yeah.
Like he's on that. He did that for Pepper and Iron Man 3 when the house exploded.
Oh yeah. You'll if you type it in, you'll see it. Hey, you see it?
I'm not seeing it on here, but I gotta see that.
Yeah. You want me to share screen when you found it?
Dude, I think I found it. Yeah, share the screen because I want to see what you're seeing. To take you for a magic carpet ride.
Right there. That's the one they said they were going to show them together with the suit, but they never got to it. So they stopped at this stage.
Oh, I thought you were saying Doctor Strange would be wearing the Iron Man suit.
Oh, no. Iron Man gives him the cape goes on to Iron Man and it makes him have the glowy thing. But then Iron Man gives the suit to Doctor Strange.
You trade off.
Did you have this? Did you have the image of Doctor Strange?
No, I did not. Did
all right, share my screen. Yeah, share my screen.
How do I do that?
Hold
on. Oh. Look it. Okay, there we go. Yeah. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to go around the eye.
Yeah, the Eye of Agamotto. How ridiculously awesome.
How powerful would that be, though? You think about that.
Yeah.
Like, that is like the ultimate version. I thought y'all knew this.
No, man, I had no idea. Tony Stark rocking the cape. That's wild.
I would have loved to seen it in the movie. That would have made the movie like 5 times better.
Oh, yeah. Deleted scene. Yeah.
Yep.
So they were just going to switch?
Yeah, switch for that one part. Well, see, the cape was already off of him, so the cape was just going to slide on him to protect him while he gave the armor to him. Because them swords were actually, in the deleted scene, they were supposed to be like coming really fast, so he really quickly gives it to him.
Yeah.
That just looks cool. Even like the green screen part looks cool.
Dude, that's so wild.
Yeah.
All right, you can unshare me.
All right.
Oh,
yeah, that would have been totally worth putting in the movie.
Dude, oh my gosh. That's ridiculous.
The greatness we'll never know.
Right. Yep. I had never, ever heard about that.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a rumor there was a action figure going to be made of it. I don't know if it got released. I don't know nothing about it. But that was just a rumor in the video I watched about it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. They should still do it just as a collector's item, you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, going on to number 5.
Number 5. Iron Man 2, definitely. There's a lot of heat on this movie, and I really don't understand why. To me, it kind of seemed like the perfect follow-up to the first Iron Man. I mean, the way the movie started, and they're playing Tony Stark's interview where he says, "I am Iron Man," and it shows Mickey Rourke just seething and getting things ready. His father just died, and I think Mickey Rourke did a good job, and I love that him and Robert Downey Jr., it's kind of symbolic. They both came from a similar place, and they're working their way back up to grace. So to have the two actors be on such a similar path and then meet in this movie, it doesn't have anything to do with the movie itself, but I like that symbolism, I guess. I always wish they would have done more with Justin Hammer. And that scene where they do first bring in Don Cheadle in the Senate, I think that's a great scene with I'm sorry, is it Gary Shatner?
The senator?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He passed away. Rest in peace. I'm having a brain fart right now, but he's wonderful. And him and Robert Downey Jr.'s chemistry together was great. And then you throw in Justin Hammer and Don Cheadle. I just loved that scene. And I hear it has pacing issues. I don't think so. I loved the movie, and I loved the Lamont scene where in Paris where he first meets. And I know there's something like Mickey Rourke would have had to have known that Tony Stark was going to drive the car, but I just suspend my imagination and enjoy the fun. You know, that was fun seeing the fight on the racetrack, and all the way to Black Widow's fight scene at the end and Tony Stark getting drunk at his party. It's such a memorable movie, and I think in today's MCU, if the same exact movie would come out, it would get rave reviews. I just think people have certain expectations, and at that time, maybe they were thinking something different for Iron Man 2. But to me, that's another movie I can turn on anytime. For me, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
I did like the suitcase. I did like the Iron Man suitcase.
That was my number 5 too. And Gary Shandling.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew it was because it's William Shatner. I knew it.
He played such a slimy person, but he was perfect for it. I loved it.
That end scene where he pricks Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Just the whole movie. The movie went out feeling great. I mean, something about the whole Tony Stark Iron Man I love. You know, and that includes Iron Man 3.
Yep. Now I love the suitcase scene. Just that in case of emergency, break the glass kind of suit. Yeah,
I like
that was really
that
cool.
They wouldn't give him the case, and he's screaming at him to give him the case.
Give me the case.
Mine would have to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
1 or 2?
Number 5. 1.
Okay.
I don't know. 2, I liked. I really did like 2, but everybody likes Baby Groot. I wanted more of a fighting Groot. I remember reading all the comic books about Groot when he was an adult, all the way up to King Groot.
Baby Groot. Baby Groot. Baby Groot. Baby Groot. No,
but that's my thing.
Baby Groot, Baby Groot.
It just seems like he was made for advertising.
Yeah.
Like for selling toys and stuff. Like
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, like Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
You make anything a baby. You made a baby Darth Vader, it's going to sell as a toy.
Not just that, but it's hard to punch Star Wars in the face when it's holding a baby out like this.
Oh, yeah.
Even the worst person doesn't want to punch someone holding the baby.
Yeah.
Groot should be a badass. I agree. Like, I loved he was such a badass in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, slinging his branch through 15 guys and swinging them around, and maybe he was a little too OP and that's why they got rid of him. But then you take it to Infinity War, they could have used that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So
that's ridiculous. I love that he was so strong, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby
well, you
Groot
look at
cute, but cute gets annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Groot, full grown Groot versus Thanos, that would have been a good fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he would have just planted his feet down and just started pummeling him.
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine Groot just wrapping his roots? And this is, you know, before Thanos gets too many stones and can just evaporate through things. But Groot just wrapping his branches around his Hulk is just pummeling Thanos. I mean, what a scene that would be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like Teenage Groot. I thought it was funny, some of the jokes.
Mm-hmm.
But Guardians Galaxy, the first one, seemed like they played the best songs. The second one kind of just seemed like they tried to make it too much like the first one. And I didn't like the dad part.
What? Yeah. I was getting ready to quote
cheesy.
The dad I was getting ready to quote cheesy.
It's so weird.
Be your father, but he ain't your daddy.
Yeah. Well, no, I like that part.
Oh.
My part was him, let's go play catch. And they're throwing an orb.
Yeah.
It's cheesy to me.
It was weird to me. He's like, but I'm your daddy boy. Like, and I worked in a strip club for a few years, so maybe my mind is ruined, but you're always talking about eating me and calling yourself my daddy. Like, maybe you should drift off into space for a little while. I'm going to go to the ship.
The funniest part was when he says, "You want to know what's wrong with me? That's my dad." It's like he's like halfway destroyed and everything, and he's coming back too.
Yeah. Well, what number was that, Tommy?
5.
That was
5.
5.
Oh, 5? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, my 5 was Iron Man 2, so we were kind of dipping into, me and Tony were both kind of dipping back and forth. Yeah. Guardians 2 was 6 for me. And because we're talking about Guardians 2, man, the second that he finds out, spoiler warning, the second that he finds out that his dad caused his mom to have cancer, and you see the anger feel, but you could see that his anger beat whatever kind of spell the trance or whatever that Ego put in his mind. And he just like, you did what? Pulls out his blasters and starts going to town.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like is Guardians of the Galaxy. He had all that power. You only got to see it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like the ending fight, you really got to see him use it. And didn't he use Pac-Man or something?
I think so.
At the end, he made a giant Pac-Man or something?
I think so, yeah.
I haven't you can know if it's on your top list or your mid list because you don't remember everything from your mid list.
I could tell you everything about the end scene of the first Guardians and not the second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do y'all got for 6?
You first.
Ant-Man. I loved Ant-Man. I loved the beginning when it just drops in on S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters and a young Michael Douglas walks in and he's telling the dude off who ends up being from Hydra, and there's Howard Stark standing over there and Peggy Carter, and that was just like you're not expecting it the first time you watch that. It just strikes that musical note and you're at S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, and then
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
That is a great part.
It is. It's just a wonderful opening. It's like, and then Paul Rudd did a wonderful job in his relationship with his daughter and his baby mom. She's always fun to look at. He has a great relationship with his baby's mom and her husband. I like that whole dynamic. I think just everyone, Evangeline Lilly did a great job. She played her role well. So did Michael Douglas. I can't remember the villain's name right now. The actor, but
Darren
he did
Cross. Corey Stoll was Darren.
Yeah. So Darren Cross is a wonderful villain, but the actor, I'm sorry, Dan Stoll.
Corey Stoll.
Corey Stoll, okay. He did a wonderful job too. I really liked his intensity. He seemed like a psychopath.
Yeah, he was definitely bringing the heat.
Yeah, and he seemed like he was just idling that line between genius and insanity and was a little too far over to the insanity part. So, and it was just, again, it's a fun movie to watch, and it added a new leg to the MCU as far as the quantum realm, and it was good. I liked the movie.
I liked it, but the only problem, I wish they would have made it sooner.
Yeah.
Like, you could have put more stuff into it. Not really with the Avengers part, but gave him more of a flow when stuff happened.
Yeah.
Do you remember the baby mama's husband, Paxton?
Yeah.
Didn't he look like Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond?
Yep.
He looked like he could have been his little brother or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the T.I. played, I forget what his name was, and the other the Russian dude.
Yeah.
They were hysterical.
T.I. was kind of a surprise. I wasn't expecting him, and then there's T.I. in a movie scene. Like, okay.
Kurt and Dave.
Yeah.
That was funny. What do you got, Tommy?
For number 6 is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay.
You don't like it, Dave?
I mean, for Iron Man 4, it was pretty good.
Well, the only reason I like it is because when I watched the cartoons as a kid and everything, that's the kind of Spider-Man I pictured.
Mm-hmm.
Still in high school. Didn't look like he was going to college. Still looked like he was in high school.
What cartoon was you watching in the 90s?
Huh?
What cartoon was you watching in the 90s?
Spider-Man?
You mean college-age Spider-Man?
No, well, you had that one and you had the other one. You talking about the jock version. Well, we didn't get that with any of the Spider-Mans. We didn't get that with any of the Spider-Mans. We got the little skinny guys.
I don't know why I love this Peter Parker so much, but I've had him. I mean, like, he's got, like, scratches and whatnot all down the side. Like, I played with this cat.
Yeah.
But his aunt wasn't bad on the eyes.
Well, it was, what's her name?
Yeah.
From my cousin,
an old lady.
From my cousin Vinny, what was her name? My mom's probably screaming at the TV right now.
I'm screaming myself right now because it's not, and I know her very well.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Just because you guys forgot it, I forgot it.
Yeah.
I just watched a movie. I watched the Slums of Beverly Hills last night, and she's in it.
Yes, Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei's boobies. I'm like, I can't even remember her name.
But I don't know. I don't know his attitude. Like, he seemed like he was in high school. His personality and everything. Like the other one, he seemed like he was.
He might have been in high school in the first season or two, because I know he was in college when he was messing with the lizard.
Well, the first episode of the '90s cartoon was the Lizard. When he was in college with Doc Connors.
Okay, all right, never mind.
So, because I just recently started that. It was on Disney Plus, and I don't have. I don't personally pay for Disney Plus.
Yeah,
It's benefit. So I feel all right about it. But what?
I was just with Homecoming. It had all the elements that. Okay, first I enjoyed. Besides the botch, the 8 years later, which I don't know, every fan knew. Like, how did that go through? Because the Avengers happened in 2012, and when did Homecoming come out? Like 2016, right? It's supposed to be like 4 years later, but it said 8 years later in the movie, which that was a botch. But I did really enjoy how the movie took from the Avengers and used the Chitauri tech. Michael Keaton was great in his role. I think Tom Holland, he's very likable, and I don't mind him. A lot of people really do say, well, I want a more adult Spider-Man. And it's like, I don't mind having a younger Spider-Man. Who knows? Maybe you'll turn into the Hugh Jackman of the role, and we have him for another 20 years. Just be patient,
Think about it.
This was the first movie, though. It had all of these great elements to it, and then they didn't even kill the villain at the end, too, which is new. But this was the first movie that kind of felt copy and pasted to me, just with great elements attached to it, unfortunately.
But I think it was the start of my reason I like it is because that bond Iron Man had with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. If he was an older Spider-Man having a bond with him like that, it'd be a little weird. Think about that.
In the comic books, and I'm not a professional, but in the comic books, he looks up to Dr. Octavius.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just wasn't 100%, in with Tom Holland wasn't the problem. I didn't like his supporting cast. I didn't like the people who he surrounded himself with. And I really didn't like the dependency he had on Tony Stark. I mean, that suit was supposed to be something that he made.
Yeah.
Flash is a joke. Like, they took, like, Flash Thompson and turned him into a cyber bully.
Yeah. What is it, Spider-Man and his amazing brown friends?
I mean, but he's not intimidating. If the bully from Spider-Man Homecoming came up to you and pushed you right now, what are you going to do? Compared to the bully from the Raimi trilogy.
Probably not move because I'm like 300 pounds.
Like, he's not intimidating. He's a little dickweed who calls Peter Parker.
He's a bougie. He's a bougie.
Penis Parker. Hey,
Yeah.
Penis Parker. That's stupid.
All right. Well, what was yours?
Oh, mine was Guardians 2. We already touched on it.
Oh.
Let's move to number 7.
Probably Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because I have to get it in there because I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
I like how y'all both picked him, and I done crap all over the Winter Soldier.
I knew as soon as you did that, I was like, oh, there goes some fun conversation.
What's killing me, I'm fighting over this and Civil War, and I liked them both, but I liked Winter Soldier a little more because it was his dedicated story, Civil War was it was a very broad net. It didn't focus on Captain America as much as his own movie would, So I liked that, and I think that was Bucky at his best. I think after he turned good, he was kind of boring,
Mm-hmm. I think Civil War should have been an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Should have been Avengers Civil War.
Yeah. Well, Civil War, it made me mad. I wanted to see, I thought Hulk would be on one side and Thor would be on one side because they're the strongest. I didn't get to actually see. I wanted to see them fighting each other. You
And
see it in Ragnarok, but it's different.
It doesn't pay off the same.
Yeah.
There's not all that anger behind it, or tension.
Yeah, they kicked the two strongest ones out of the Civil War, and I just don't understand why.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I have with Civil War. Other than that, it's a great movie.
Yeah. Tommy, your number 7?
Thor. And it was this Thor just because of the same thing you said is when he gets that hammer and everything comes on him and stuff, and you're so hyped up, you feel like a little kid when you've seen your first fist fight. You're like, oh, get him!
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, to me, that was, like, amazing. My adrenaline was pumping.
So hyped.
Yeah. That was my number 7.
Mm-hmm. Mine was Doctor Strange. But realistically, like, Doctor Strange could have been anywhere through this because like we've some of the ones we've talked in depth more earlier, we don't really have to dig back into, but for those same reasons, like that, the movies, this top 10 is just full of like number 1 spots.
Oh yeah.
So
Iron Man 1 would always be my number 1.
Well, yeah, whatever.
Number 2 spot is kind of negotiable, but Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit number 8.
All right, I've got to go with the Avengers. The reason it's probably not higher on this list is because there are times where some of the characters do seem a little out of character, but then there are also times like Black Widow's entrance. I mean, I really liked her beginning scene where she's tied to the chair and she's like, hold on, I'm working, and it's not even a big deal that she's So that was great when Tony Stark, especially seeing it the first time with the nuke, and he flies up there and then he drops down and Hulk screams and it wakes him up, and just all of that was just, it was fun. So we all know why we love the Avengers. What else is there to say,
Can we just not go in tomorrow? Let's just take a day. Let's take a personal day. That and the shawarma. Hey, have you guys had shawarma? We should have shawarma. Let's just do that. I love that movie.
That kind of Endgame kind of solves a continuity error, or what people were calling one, because it showed him eating the shawarma and everyone's like, where's Loki? Are you just gonna capture him and leave him on his own or something? But then in Endgame it shows the strike team come in with a shield and everything. But even then, I mean, did shield hold Loki only until Thor took him back to Asgard, or
I don't know. And that does make you wonder at the end of the first Avengers when he just goes and gets Loki back.
Yeah,
because if Shield's holding him, they're not just going to be like, "Oh yeah, sure, come on, you can take him. That's cool."
Yeah. So it's like either you gave him to Shield or you left him on it. Because I was thinking maybe they fix it, but now I'm thinking about Shield, and especially under control of Robert Redford's character, they're not going to give him back, especially after attacking the Earth. So they're going to want that technology and they're going to want information, So where's Loki when they're eating the shawarma? That's all I'm trying to say. We have some irresponsible superheroes.
He's probably handcuffed, hanging off the building.
Mine is the Avengers. The reason it made this list is because when Hulk grabs Loki and literally just keeps slamming him.
Yeah.
Beat him like a drum. Puny god.
Yeah. Hulk had some great scenes in that movie. That was the funnest Hulk I think we've seen on screen up until that point. You've seen like Destruction Hulk, but that Hulk was fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Thor 3 for my number 8. Thor Ragnarok. Running into Hulk and him developing his power was probably the highlight of that movie, when he was able to hone it all in and just dish out the power. Man, it was just like, whoa, whoa, don't mess with that guy.
Well, that and sorry, my mic went out, so that's why I got it. But when they're on that ship and it's falling apart, getting attacked, was that in Avengers?
I think that was in Infinity War, in the beginning of Infinity War.
When she's like stroking his hand. No, because Loki was on the ship.
Oh, wait, that was the end of
end of Ragnarok, beginning of Infinity War.
Maybe
at the end of Ragnarok, they're on the ship, and then on the end credit scene, it shows Thanos' shadow, the shadow of his ship, come over him.
No, this is how the Hulk got to Ragnarok.
Oh, at the end of Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
he took off on the Quinjet.
Yeah.
That's what
he
I was
flew Ultron off of it and then flew away.
Yeah.
Then became a frat boy.
the champion.
The champion.
I liked a lot, but there we start to see where the jokes start coming in, and that where I did like it. I did have some issues that I had with it. It was just too jokey.
What?
Thor Ragnarok.
You're not gonna like number 9.
What?
That's my number 9.
Ragnarok? That's my number 8.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I didn't hear you. My mic was dead.
Oh, daggone, man.
I couldn't hear you.
No, we were talking about I said Thor, Thor Ragnarok was my 8 because it was, just, and we talked about how that he developed his powers and whatnot. But yeah, I mean I enjoyed it, but there was things I had issues with it. I mean that was just some of what I thought was meh.
Well, the main reason it made my list is because there was someone stronger than Thor that he had to overcome. Like, does that make sense? Like his sister.
He couldn't overcome her either. She's too strong. Yeah.
She was cool.
Oh, yeah. Especially when she grabbed the hammer. That instant cracking, I was like, no, it's not happening.
Man, 2 rumors from Endgame was the Uru metal. They were going to use that to make their own gauntlet, because it never shows how the gauntlet gets made in Endgame. They just have it, So that, and I heard that, and I guarantee this was the plan until the higher ups made them put Captain Marvel in. I heard that Tony Stark and Nebula were going to find the Annulex batteries that Rocket stole at the beginning of Guardians 2, and that's how they were going to power the ship to get home. I mean, tell me that. I sat on that shit for months until the movie came out and they didn't do it. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, that would have been so much better.
Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine? Like,
I remember being in a movie theater and I knew it was going to happen. As soon as I saw the light start to glow, I was just like, no. And it was like, hey, you need a ride? And I was like, no.
Here's Jesus glowing. Just,
yeah.
Space Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Ugh.
Every time she was on the camera, I cringed.
Yeah.
I mean, Why did you let Tony? Why are you running towards Ant-Man's shitty van with the Infinity Gauntlet? You're Captain Marvel. You can fly through the sun. Why aren't you putting the gauntlet on and snapping and doing what Tony Stark did? Why does he have... You've had the gauntlet for 5 minutes now. Put it on and snap. It's not going to kill you.
Could you imagine the backlash if that happened?
I know, but it's just the inconsistency of making someone so OP. You shouldn't make someone that powerful.
Yeah.
Or at least do it right, like Superman, and they've even struggled with him, so...
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's a Superman's their favorite, or not many, at least.
I like Superman, but I understand that he is just too...
It's hard to relate to somebody who doesn't have any imperfections.
Right.
Unless Hulk faced him and they would rip his head off.
What's that?
Superman versus Hulk. I believe Hulk would win.
Bull. All right, Tony, number 9.
Okay, I forgot where we were at. So, I think Civil War was my number 9. Let me check my list. Nope, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love this movie, okay? It felt new to me when I went, and this is right after Infinity War, right? So...
Number 9.
Like, you gave me the look. I'm like, what? I liked it, man. So no, it felt fresh, you know, even though it was right after Infinity War and everything. It just felt new. All the shots felt new. The tone of the movie felt new, and I was kind of waiting. I wish they would have introduced Evangeline Lilly in Civil War as the Wasp. I think it would have made sense, and it would have been better than to introduce I don't want to say Spider-Man, but Evangeline Lilly would have fit in, I think. I think she would have been so. It was just a good movie. It was funny. That end credit scene was amazing. I liked the movie. Again, the villain was interesting. It was an interesting perspective. I like learning about quantum physics. So when they started delving into the quantum realm and stuff, I like that. And I like that they hired an actual physicist to help them with some of that. I thought the quantum realm was going to play a bigger role in Endgame. And in the end game of things than just traveling through it to get through time. I thought we were going to explore in there a little bit and do a little more. So Ant-Man and the Wasp had hyped me up for that a bit, and I can't fault the movie. I mean, it's interesting, but I wish Endgame might have followed up a little more with what they were heading to in this movie, because they showed them in a quantum physics class and they were talking about things, and I love that kind of stuff, because once you hit the quantum realm, our entire understanding of reality falls apart. And that, to me, that's interesting. I mean, you can have multiple dimensions in Earth 616 and Earth this and Earth that in Marvel Comics, but there's only one quantum realm, and it connects it all. So
I like looking at the what are they called? The little creature things they're like amoebas, I think they're called.
The thing in the comics, like the civilization down there? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of them. I know it's something else, but Fox owns the rights to it, so they have to call
no,
them.
not that one.
Okay.
It was the microscopic organism called amoebas. They had like 6 legs. It's a real thing, that.
Oh, okay, yeah, amoebas, yeah. Okay, yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When he was
if you go far enough,
yeah.
It's an organism. I don't know if they consider it an animal now or what they consider it, but they're microscopic. but they're the most indestructible creature on this earth.
Yeah.
Because they're so small.
I know when he was going down before he got to the atoms, when he kept shrinking and shrinking.
Oh, yeah, okay. When he was going to go get his mom or her mom?
Yeah.
That's okay. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, that was interesting to see how.
And so we're at 9?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, 9 for me was Ragnarok, as y'all know. But the only real thing was there's too much joking. But I loved it when Thor got what Loki got. And he jumped up and said, "See how it feels," or something like that.
Yes.
I didn't like the Rock guy.
In the very beginning, when he was bound up on the chain, and he was just like, he held his hand out and was like,
yeah.
And you could hear it breaking through. Oh, no. That was in Doctor Strange's house, too.
Yeah, it was in Doctor Strange, and then Loki falls. He goes, "I've been falling for 45 minutes."
No, but in the I forget where it was with that big molten lava guy, the rock, the flaming, whatever.
Yeah, he was the one that's supposed to cause Ragnarok.
Yeah, but he held his hand out and was like, "Just I should have done this sooner. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hang on, just when I get this." But that also when he was in Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah.
And like you can hear everything breaking, and he's like, "Sorry, oh, sorry."
Yeah.
You know what's funny too? You know who the Rock guy is? His name's Korg, but he's voiced by Taika Waititi, who's the director and the writer of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah,
so it's
Korg
funny
is cool.
like the character he wrote for himself. That's awesome. He's kind of an a-hole in real life. So
hey there, hey.
How did you feel about what's her name? It was the main female role in Ragnarok, the good one. She was always drunk.
Tessa Thompson.
Yes. How'd y'all feel about her?
She was cool, but I liked Lady Sif, and I think it was missing her. I mean, Tessa Thompson was okay, but
yeah, I didn't care much for her.
Yeah, like yeah.
Now, did y'all go deep into the Thor comic books?
Mm-mm.
Now, do you know why Ragnarok always has to happen? Like, that's not the first time it's happened. It happens like every so often.
Yeah.
Because when they die, that energy goes to the gods that are bigger than them. That basically control everything. Well, what are they called? They're massive.
Titans.
Titans, yeah. All that energy that gets released from destroying it goes to the Titans.
It feeds them.
Yeah. And then Thor finds out really what Ragnarok is, and he destroys them.
I didn't know that.
There's a great backstory to Thor that they haven't even touched on.
That's
actually
they don't touch on it much, but that's what Thanos is as a Titan.
Yeah, that's what Thanos is. That's why Thor had to kill him. Like that's the whole reason.
That's why it's Loki's like, "You'll never be a god," and it's like, well, it snapped his neck like it was nothing. I don't need to be a god. I'm a Titan. And that was with one stone.
Yeah.
And Loki was afraid of him I can't say he didn't have any because he gave him the space stone, but gods are gods, but a Titan is a Titan.
I still don't think Loki's dead, though. He's done faked his death too many times.
It's the Disney Plus series. That's why they had him escape an Endgame with the Tesseract, so they can do the Disney Plus series. It's going to be a Loki where Thor the Dark World never happened, where he never became a good guy. It's the Loki from straight after the first Avengers.
Hmm.
So what do you guys got for number 10?
This one's hard because there are so many good ones on here. I think I have a couple written down because I can't, and we've named them all already, but I'm going to go with Doctor Strange because I love this movie too, and I love the mythology behind it. If there's one thing I would have changed, I would have started the movie with him as a surgeon and everything earlier, and I would have made it years of him practicing because it kind of feels like he was there for a few months and he learned and he got real good. But they even said in the movie, well, how did you get good at this? Years of practice. And so, the way Spider-Man Homecoming started at the beginning of the first Avenger, Spider-Man began at the end of the first Avengers with him cleaning up all the Chitauri mess and everything. I wish Doctor Strange would have taken some sort of creative route with that, where you show him back in the early days of the MCU. I don't know, maybe, just some sort of Easter egg. Maybe Tony Stark's race from Iron Man 2 on TV, something while he's operating, and then he could have trained from there, and then here he is now in the present day MCU. He makes this splash, like, who's this powerful sorcerer? But like most overnight successes, he's actually been at it for years, just in the shadows. I would have liked to have seen them take that route with him because I love Doctor Strange, but his training and to be the greatest sorcerer and the greatest sorcerer supreme ever, it seemed like his training was 4 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, they even kind of wrote themselves into a little error because they were referencing Rhodey at the beginning when he was driving in his vehicle before he got into the accident. They said we have an Air Force pilot, spinal injury. It was supposed to be from Civil War, but it's like, wait, if this isn't Civil War how long is it going to take him to recover from the accident? How long is it going to take him to learn this magic? And Infinity War is supposed to be 2 years away. So then they had to go back and retcon it, be like, no, that was someone else. That wasn't Rhodey. But it was Rhodey.
Yeah.
I never picked up on that.
Yeah, it was Rhodey. And why else would they reference a mid-40s pilot, Air Force pilot, spinal injury, and they were referencing Rhodey, and then they realized there's not enough time between Civil War and Infinity War to have Doctor Strange get into a life-threatening accident, heal, and become one of the greatest sorcerers ever. So then they went back, oh, no, that was just part of the movie, but it's not. It sticks out like a sore thumb. When you watch it again, it sticks out. Not to nitpick because I love the movie, but that is something that gets me every time.
That's a good point. I'd never caught that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't either. Like I never put 2 together, and
Yeah.
I actually really like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, right before the accident, just listen when they're going through the different cases with him, and they bring up Rhodey.
Tell me what you got for 10.
Captain Marvel.
Shut
Just
your
kidding.
face.
Just kidding. Mine would be Endgame. I know you're not gonna like it, Seth. I know. And trust me, because what they did to the Hulk is a shame. That almost made me not want to finish watching it when I saw the Hulk. I was like, oh God. But the sacrifice Iron Man made showed what kind of person. That's why they had to make my list.
Yeah, I mean, it takes it full circle from the first Avengers, because when him and Cap are arguing, Cap said he would never be the man to make the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And then he did. But it also proved in Endgame that not everything that made Cap special came out of a bottle, because when he held Mjolnir,
Yep.
that proved it. So,
Well, my main thing is like me. There's like, oh, he's Iron Man sacrifices himself when he threw the nuke up into the thing. Some people used to say, oh, well, he knew he could get away. Like he had it all figured out. He knew he had enough time to get out and stuff like that. He knew that was going to kill him when he snapped his fingers. Like that proved that he was willing to sacrifice himself to defeat Thanos, save everybody. So, like, that's what made it make my list. I know I ran right on that one.
You know what stopped Captain America from being able to lift Mjolnir in Age of Ultron? The reason why he couldn't lift it there compared to when he could lift it in Endgame.
what?
He knew about Tony Stark's parents' death and was keeping it from him. And that's what was made. So after Civil War, he became worthy.
Huh. Dang, I didn't know that.
No.
Plus, I liked Fat Thor. There was finally a fat Avenger. It made me feel more.
Oh, Thor Lebowski.
Yeah, and he not to cut, but he learned about Tony's parents' death in Winter Soldier when Zola told him when he was in the old Shield headquarters, and they're saying, well, Shield would have stopped you, and he was like, accidents happen, and it showed Howard Stark. So that moment is when Captain America became unworthy because he had to tell his friend and he didn't. So. Just little things like that.
What was yours?
My number 10 was Civil War. Mainly because it was a culmination of everybody. Like the topics we kind of already hit on, it was a fun, full ride. So that's pretty much why. And then everything else we've already talked about. I would like to get into this Esquire article. They did the whole complete MCU, but I'm going to start from their number 10 and work our way up to number 1. And their number 10 is very disheartening. Captain Marvel.
Well, you know they're going to do that. Like,
right, like it's just
they're trying to force that down your throat.
Oh yeah.
I would think they'd put Captain Marvel higher up on the list for Esquire.
For being stunning and brave.
Yeah, that's not very stunning of them.
Yeah. Number 9 is Spider-Man Homecoming. Meh. I don't hate it. Number 8 is Spider-Man Far From Home. You're going to put 2 Spider-Man that close? Number 7 is The Avengers, the 2012 Avengers. Number 6 is Endgame. Number 5, Civil War. Thor Ragnarok's number 4. Iron Man's number 3. Guardians of the Galaxy number 2. Sound the Wokuian. Guess what's number 1?
It's typical though. That's that's gonna happen.
Oh my gosh! Like I can't even. That didn't make none of our lists. But I mean, it just wasn't that memorable.
Now, Panther. Since you've gone through the list, what's at the very bottom of your list? Since we couldn't do all 23, what would have been at your very bottom 2? Very bottom 2 list.
Very bottom? Captain Marvel.
No, your very bottom 2. So, like, the worst and the worstest. Like,
probably would have been Dark World and Captain Marvel. But Captain Marvel would have been the worst.
I can tell you right. My bottom 3 would be Black. I know we're supposed to do 2, but it's hard to just name 2. The movies that I've seen that I can't ever go back and rewatch, I've tried and I can't, is Dark World, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel. And it's nothing. Black Panther, I think it was the hype that kind of ruined it for me too, but it wasn't a very good movie. And then whatever his name, I can't remember right now, Mahler did a review of Black Panther and just tore it apart. And
yeah, the costume was great. I will give him that. For Black Panther, when it hit, it would absorb it. Like it was all there. I don't know, the way they put it on a platter, it looked like it was made of gold, but it really wasn't. The acting was kind of mediocre. Something like you would see like in it looked like the person that made the first Hulk movies made that.
And they wasted the best actor they had.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis, they just wasted Claw.
Yeah, he was cool.
I was waiting for a follow-up from him. Excuse me, I'm a little sour, and this is why I ranked Black Panther so low. I was waiting for more from Claw since Age of Ultron. And he cut his hand off, and I'm like, here we go. And then it just gets popped in a field. Like, okay. Like, that's it? He's dead? So, it's just lackluster.
Yeah.
Now, ain't Black Panther 2 coming out before the Doctor Strange 2 comes out?
I don't know. Probably. What culture? They just want to shove it all out.
Didn't they just push Doctor Strange 2 back? Because I think it was supposed to come out first.
Yeah, but I think they moved it.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but that's what...
I know it was going to be a horror movie, Doctor Strange 2, and then they decided against it because Kevin Feige doesn't want to take risks.
Sometimes risks are the best way. Like, unless you go too far out there, aka Star Wars. But, I don't know, the horror movie with Doctor Strange would actually seem good.
And Wanda...
I'm seeing Doctor Strange for May 7th, 2021.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's been adjusted since.
That's when it was supposed to come out originally. See, it's supposed to have the Scarlet Witch in it, and it was going to be a horror movie, and it was going to, I think, be about her madness, and she was going to kind of play a bad guy in it, and that would have been really interesting, but...
Yeah.
Mouse ears... So, mouse ears dampen everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, well, I think this is a good place to stop for the evening. I've got to be up for work super duper early. And it has been a pleasure to have you, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Plug your channel, man. Tell us where we can find more of you.
So come check me out over at Tonedef. I just finished my non-spoiler review of season 1 of Cobra Kai, which story of my life. I work on this for about 2 weeks. I'm trying to make it entertaining because it's made for the person who hasn't seen Cobra Kai. I want to get you hyped for it because in modern Hollywood and television, if we have a good show and a show that's fair and is about good storytelling, I think it's important that we promote that, and Cobra Kai is one of those shows. I may be a little late to the bandwagon, but the night before I release my video, I hear the show gets canceled. which breaks my heart because they leave you with such a cliffhanger. I didn't think the second season was going to be as good as the first. And then I watched the second, and it's great as well. And they leave you with this cliffhanger. So now everyone's waiting to see if Netflix or Hulu's going to pick up Cobra Kai. I don't understand. I was given YouTube praise in this video, okay? Because if they didn't have any other shows, this show was so good, and they just, why would you get rid of it? So, and I even get into that. I add an addendum to this video, and, you know, I just talk about the greatness of Cobra Kai. That's my latest video. I also have a couple videos up about Star Wars. If you're a Zelda fan, I got a couple theories up on that. So come check me out, Tony Tonedef, or see my hashtag or my username for Twitter. Come follow me on Twitter. And again, thank you both. Tommy, it was great to meet you, and thank you for having me on. Yeah.
Yep. Glad you could join us, man. We'll link your channel down in the description. So click down below, check that out. And we will get back with you guys probably next week with another rousing episode, maybe another guest. And I'm pretty sure that Friday night we'll be live on this channel for the Fans Pop Culture Corner. So be sure to set your bell notification to everything, so that way you don't miss anything going on. Tommy, you got anything else to say?
Please subscribe and like. And I'm going to put the list up at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Comment who had the best list. I want to know.
And comment your list. We would like to know what you guys have to say. You know, if you don't like it, if you don't like something that we've said, put it in the script, put it in the comment section. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
There's really never any wrong answers in opinions. So unless it's Captain Marvel.
yeah.
But
you won't change my mind on that. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
you're wasting your time.
Yeah. Anyway, it's me, Appalachian American, signing off. Take care and have a good week.
I'm signing out.
Bye.